Jimmy Butler, man, oh man, he put on a show yesterday. If you guys didn't see it, I suggest you guys go watch some highlights. Go check out NBA Finals Game 3. Jimmy Butler went off, man. Jimmy Butler scored 40 points, 13 assists, 11 rebounds, put that team on his back. It was just a great performance. He controlled the whole game. 13 assists, 11 rebounds, 40 points. He was the best player on the court yesterday, easily. LeBron and AD didn't show up. AD had early foul trouble, so that was a part of the reason why he wasn't so aggressive and he could never get into a good rhythm. LeBron just looked very passive. It looked like he might have been a little uninterested in the game. Definitely expect more from him. I believe he ended with 8 turnovers. That's unacceptable. LeBron can't be turning the ball over that much. He can't turn the ball over that much, and the Lakers expect to win. It's just not going to happen. The Miami Heat are a good team, even without Bam, and Dragic. So yeah, shout out to the Heat. I'm actually, as a Laker fan, I'm obviously upset that the Lakers lost Game 3. But as a basketball fan, I'm kind of happy. I'm kind of happy just because it's the NBA Finals. Like, this is what we wait for the whole year. We want a competitive finals, and I want to see competitive finals, especially because like the last few years when the Warriors were dominating, like those finals were not that fun. Like it was an aforementioned who was gonna win. It was gonna be the Warriors. I do live in the Bay Area, so it's kind of cool. Not really. I don't really like Warrior fans, but it was like, it was a foregone conclusion. It was a formality at that point, just going to just watching the games, just seeing the games just because they're on, not because, you want to see who's going to win. You kind of always knew that the Warriors were going to win, other than when LeBron came back 3-1. But I thought this season was going to be the first season in a long time that it was going to be competitive and it was going to be like a really good final and anybody could get there and stuff like that. And honestly, the Lakers had pretty much coasted all the way to the finals, and then to sweep in the finals wouldn't be as entertaining. So shout out to the Heat. Shout out to Jimmy Butler for coming out yesterday, firing on all cylinders. They deserve a win. They got one. I would be very surprised if they get another one, to be honest. I don't think Jimmy Butler could keep playing 45-plus minutes and then do this much, get triple-doubles, get 40-point triple-doubles, and then I don't think AD will get in foul trouble like that again. I don't think he'll be as timid as he was yesterday. I feel like it's all a reaction of getting early fouls. Like once you get early fouls, you don't play as aggressive on defense or on offense, just because you always have that possibility of getting another foul and then you get pulled out and then you're sitting in the bench just watching. So I think that's what it was for AD. I don't want to give him any excuses. It's unacceptable. Like the level of performance he had yesterday was just not what we've come to expect from him. And LeBron too. It looked like they were super passive. They weren't. It kind of felt like they didn't take the Heat seriously, especially during the game. The Heat took an early 13-point lead, and then within 5 minutes, the Lakers came back and took the lead, and then they kind of let off the gas again, and then early third quarter, Heat take a 14-point lead, and it's like, all right, do the Lakers have it in them to bring it back? And they did, and they brought it back, and they took the lead. And the Lakers actually had the lead with like 8 minutes and 55 seconds or something like that. 8 minutes, 55 seconds, they had the lead, and then they let off the gas again, and then Jimmy Butler kind of took over, and then it was too late to make another comeback, and then that was the game. So what I expect from the Lakers is I expect them to take the Heat more seriously. I expect them to come out with more intensity next game, and I expect AD and LeBron to play like AD and LeBron, two of the top 5 players in the league. And if they do that, the Heat, no matter how many points Jimmy Butler puts, they don't have a chance. I would say if Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero start getting hot, they might have a small chance, but I don't think it's just so much that they're cold. It's more that the Lakers just have such a good defense that they're not letting them get the shots that they want. So if Bam comes back for Game 4, they might have a slight higher chance, but honestly, I think the Lakers are gonna win the next 2 games. They're gonna close this thing out. It's gonna be a another 5 game series, and then that's gonna be it. But I do want to just harp on the fact that I'm giving Jimmy Butler all the props in the world. He played amazing yesterday. I know he got a lot of bad slack during his time in his previous teams. He played for he got drafted by the Chicago Bulls, 30th overall, last pick in the first round, and then he developed there. He went from like a defensive player to like a 3-and-D, or not really a 3-and-D. He never had the 3, but he was just a really good defensive player. And then his offensive game came, and he became like an all-star with them. And then he fell out with the Bulls, and he went with Minnesota. And then he fell out with Minnesota and went to Philly. And then he fell out with Philly, and now he's with the Bulls. I mean, with the Heat. And during those years where he was transitioning from team to team, he always got that bad label that he was like a cancer in the locker room, that he was too outspoken, that he rubbed people the wrong way. And now he's with the Heat, a real decent organization that actually knows what they're doing, that is well run by Pat Riley and everybody there, Spoelstra. And you see that it might have not been Jimmy. It's probably the other franchises that just didn't know how to be run, or then they don't expect greatness from their player, or their goals are just not the same as Jimmy. And Jimmy, being the competitor that he is, was not comfortable or would be outspoken when he was in those situations. Like, hey, come on, like, this is not the right. And then the players from those teams, Cat, Embiid, or whoever you want to say from the Bulls, they're not the competitor that Jimmy is. So I could see how he would rub some people the wrong way. But I'm glad he's getting his shine. I'm glad people are mentioning him. Everybody has Jimmy Butler name in their mouth. Everyone's talking about him. Everyone's like, damn, this guy's legit. He's pushing himself to like the upper tier of NBA players, and I'm very happy for him, especially just because he was not a big name. He came out of Marquette. He developed. He trusted the process. Basically, his grind never stopped. He was never like a 5-star recruit. He never had the notoriety, and now he's in the finals. He's balling out. 40-point triple-double. I did find it funny when he told LeBron and the Lakers that you're in trouble. And then I know some Laker fans were like getting upset, or just some fans were like, oh man, why is he talking like they're about to get a gentleman's sweep, and like he's gonna regret that. But honestly, I love when NBA players talk their talk, and like when they're feeling themselves. I think it adds a nice aspect to the game. Like you should want to talk shit to other players. You should want to let your emotions out. It's a competition. It's a high intense competition. Like you want your players to feel free and talk their talk. Later on in the press conference, he announced, or he clarified that situation. He said that LeBron was the one that actually, like in the first quarter when the game was kind of closed, LeBron told him that they were in trouble. So he was just getting him back at the end of the game when he kind of closed it out, and he was just getting LeBron back for what he told him in the first, which makes sense. He was like, nah, I'm not just going out there talking shit. But I know people are already gonna have that clip ready for if and when the Lakers beat the Heat, that they're gonna have that clip of Jimmy Butler saying, yeah, you guys are in trouble, just to rub it in his face that no, in fact, the Lakers were not in trouble. And then the other one that caught my attention was after Jimmy Butler did that, and then I think that he got a stop, and then Tyler Hero went down the court and he got an N1 to completely just ice the game. And then he started mean mugging the camera, and he was acting all tough, and he was feeling himself. And I honestly, I like that too. I was like, all right, let's bet, let's do it. Let's run it back game 4. Let's see what y'all made of. But I already on Twitter, on Laker Twitter, I already saw people making edits, because this has happened to the Lakers throughout the whole playoffs, where a team gets a game on them and they start getting super confident. They start getting super, their bravado goes up. They just get really pumped. They think they're gonna win the series. It happened in Game 1 of the first round versus the Portland Trailblazers. Damian Lillard scored a dagger 3, and then right as he's coming back to defense, there's a song playing in the background, and he likes that song, so he starts dancing. And then in the second series against the Rockets, Game 1, the Rockets, Russell Westbrook got a dagger shot towards the end of the game, and he was just looking at everybody and just talking his shit. He was just like he was like barking at everybody, and the announcers even like mentioned it, like, oh, and he's talking to anybody that'll listen to him, and he's just barking at everybody, like what Russell Westbrook always does, like just being super like animated with his like head movements and stuff as he's talking, like And I was like, all right, that's dope. That's dope. I honestly, Russell Westbrook used to be my favorite player in the NBA. So I was like, you know what? That's cool. That's cool. Like, you guys got game one. Fine, let's do it. And then they never won a game, so it was funny. That got added to the edit. So both Damian Lillard and Russell Westbrook game one, feeling themselves, and then they never won a game. And then in the Western Conference Finals against the Nuggets, Lakers were up 2-0 in the series, and then in game three, Jamal Murray hits a dagger three to close it out, and they get that game. And as he hits that dagger three, and he's walking back to his sideline or to his bench side, he starts like doing a little dance, like, feeling himself. And everybody was like, all right, this is gonna be the exact same thing as what happened earlier with Lillard and Westbrook. And sure enough, Nuggets didn't win another game, and they lost in 5. So I feel like this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen to Jimmy Butler, and this is gonna happen to Tyler Hero. Like, yeah, you guys got a game. Congratulations. I honestly appreciate you guys' little swaggers to you guys. Like, honestly, keep that up. More players in the NBA need to just not be buddy with their opponents, and just talk their talk. But I think that's it. I think that's the only game the Heat are gonna get. I think the Lakers should wrap this up in the next 2 games. And if I'm not mistaken, today's Monday. They play again tomorrow, Tuesday, and then Thursday. By Thursday, Lakers should be crowned NBA champions.